Well, good morning. Hello, beautiful. Welcome to a little bit of makeup and a whole lot of Jesus, where we're going to spend about the next 30 to, I don't know, 45 minutes working on some beauty on the outside and a whole lot of beauty on the inside. So, the foundation verse for this podcast is going to be Psalm 119, verse 11. I have hidden your word in my heart that I might not sin against you. And then all of our verses are going to be coming from the Word in Color coloring book. You can see a little picture of that there, and then also a link with a QR code, depending on what device that you're on. And whether you're watching here live with me or watching me here, later on in a recorded broadcast, this is the coloring book that we're going to be using. Now, let me just show you what today's is going to look like, just so you kind of know what you're getting into. So, our verse for next week is going to be this right here. We have this hope as an anchor for the soul. Hebrews 6:19. That's going to be the verse we're working on this week. So, every week we're going to have a picture to color with that verse in it. At the end of season one, we'll have completed this coloring book, and you'll just have a beautiful pictorial display of all the verses that you have worked on during season one. So, kind of a little bit of a fun thing. It kind of, while I'm coloring, I say the verses like repeatedly over in my head. I think about, what does that verse mean? What does that verse mean for me? How am I going to apply that? What is the point of having this verse in my heart? And how is that going to impact me and help me to not sin against God? So, last week's verse that we worked on, let me get over to that, was Isaiah 49:16, and that was, I have written your name on the palms of my hands. Isaiah 49:16. So, that was our verse from last week. And again, the one that we're going to be working on for this week is, we have this hope as an anchor for the soul, and that can be found in Hebrews 6:19. There you go. All right, so that's what we're going to be working on this week. So we're going to get that ticker going on the bottom. So the whole time that we're hanging out here this morning, you're going to see that verse just scrolling along the bottom of that screen. So as you're looking at me, you're just going to see that and let that just kind of absorb into you as we're working on our beauty on the outside this morning. All right, so we are going to start with our all-nighter face primer. This is from Urban Decay. And one pump of this is going to do you. So you can see it's got that pump there. You're just going to pump that one pump, and now you're good to go. Between the fingers, apply that to any place where your foundation may have a tendency to kind of not stick very well, or you have fine lines and wrinkles that you want smoothed out a little bit. Maybe you've got some excess pores on your nose, so make sure you're hitting that. This is going to minimize pores. It's going to minimize wrinkles. It's going to help your foundation to set and to last better. So lots of reasons to use that. Just gives you a nice smooth surface with which to work. And now we're going to be using our Bye Bye Under Eye. This is the 11 Light Nude. This is from It Cosmetics. A little bit of this goes a long way. This really does better when you let it heat up to your body temperature a little bit. So this too I've had for a minute. So we're just going to use a little bead of this, and we're going to apply it where we need concealer. Like I said, it doesn't take much. You can see how far that little bit's going already. So any darkness, any scarring, redness, this is going to help with all of that. So just to get that in there, we're going to let it set for just a minute. As it heats up with your body temperature, it's going to help it to blend out more effectively and just seamlessly cover those problem areas, and then give your foundation the ability to do its job better. Today we're going to be using the Beauty Blender from Beauty Blender, and we're going to be using this in a damp application. So I've already dampened this. You can see the size of that. It's already in its pluffed up state. So, sorry, I got a little fuzz going on there. All right, so we're going to use the tip of our Beauty Blender for the concealer. You're just going to blend out those harsh edges. No harsh edges, unless we're trying to do harsh edges. All right, and you can see how that's just removed that redness altogether. Blending it out so we don't have any lines for that. Making sure we get in the corner of that eye area really nice. There you go. Today we're going to be using the Fenty Beauty. This is the Pro Filter Matte, and this is in the shade 185. The fluid or the pigments in this foundation weigh a little bit more than the fluids they're suspended in. So make sure before you use this that you give it a pretty good shake to let everything just kind of mix up so it can do its job more effectively. You don't maybe need to shake it that many times. And with this one, we're going to be using just partial pumps. So for each different section of the face that we're going to be doing, you're going to be using about that much. Altogether, this is going to equal about one whole pump. So if you're a pump it on the back of the hand, scrape it off with a beauty blender, knock yourself out, do that. Whatever works for you. We're just going to dab that where we need it. I've seen some people recently doing this like dot thing where they're dotting all over the face with all the stuff. This one dries a little fast, so if you do that, there's a potential opportunity for you ending up with dots on your face. So I don't necessarily recommend that with every foundation, um, nor this foundation, unless you're going to be blending out like really quickly. Okay, again, we're going to be using a partial pump. Kind of a dabbing, swiping motion here. And you can already see the difference between the two sides. This definitely has a more even color. This one's got a little more red and splotchiness going on with it. All right, partial pump. Now, if you want a little more coverage, head more to that full coverage, just do that whole thing again. All right, partial pump. We're going to catch underneath the jawline here so that we don't end up with any harsh lines, and it'll blend everything out nicely. Especially for people who might have a neck color that's a little bit different from their face color, this will help even everything out. Gone are the days from the 80s where I'm pretty sure we liked the line thing happening. I'm not sure if we knew we liked it or if they told us we liked it. Anyways, that's not a thing anymore, so don't do that. Another partial pump. We're going to hit the forehead here. Isn't it funny how trends just kind of come and go? Well, good morning. I see a few of you on here with me. I am not going to answer you in the chat per se, but if you ask a question in there, I'll answer it out loud here. So fire away, fire away. So yes, the answer to that question is this beauty blender does much better damp. The first few times I used it, sorry, I did not like it. I've realized after watching a presentation from Beauty Blender that the reason I didn't like it was because I wasn't using it right. So this this one does much better when it's damp. The pores on it are just completely different. So I encourage you, if you have not liked it so far because you're using it dry, get that bad boy damp, run it under the water, wring it out until it kind of just doesn't wring out water anymore, and then you're in the right place. Okay, so now I've been talking a little bit. Let me just tap my nose. Looks like it needs just a tad bit more. All right, when you've got your foundation the way that you want it, actually, it looks like I got a little extra special redness happening on here today. We're going to go for a second coat happening here. There you go. That makes me happy. Okay, so you can go ahead and set this aside. Speaking of set, we're going to set this with our Lancome Long Time No Shine. A couple of great things about this is that it already has the puff in it. You don't have to buy anything extra. So this, we're just going to start out in the eye area first. I always leave a little bit extra under this so that as you're doing your eyeshadow, if you have any fallout, you've got something to kind of wipe away. And then if your top little area, here, let me show you. This right here, once it runs out, you're just going to screw that lid back on, give it a couple of taps, and that area will fill up with the amount of powder that you need. All right, so let's set the whole face here. We are pressing that into our foundation. You can glide it just a little bit, but we're not trying to move everything around. We're just trying to set it. And then finally, we'll finish that off with the forehead. And this is a translucent. They do have a deep translucent now, so if you do not have fair skin like I do, feel free to try that. It's like a translucent, but for more pigmentation. So this doesn't offer any color. You're not going to get any additional coverage from this. This is merely setting that powder so that it's there to stay all day. Because this one is got mattifying properties. It's also going to help control your oil for those of you who are like me in that normal to area for me combo zone. All right, so let's get some contouring on the face because now we're just all pale. So we're going to do some Benefit Cheek in the Mail. We're going to be using two colors in this particular palette here. It's a little fluffy, so we're going to be using this one right here, which is Cookie. That's our highlighter. And then we'll be using this one right here, which is Hula, which is like their hero product bronzer, which I have now spilled all over my lap. We're going to be using the IT Cosmetics brush. This end here, we're going to be well, this is actually a foundation brush, but we're using for contouring because I've been using it this way for a long time and it works well. So this right here, thing I love about this end, you get a little more control for that contouring. This end here for highlighting, just a nice fluffy, yet not too fluffy for that. So we're going to take this here using the flat end first. Couple swipes in with a kind of a U motion. You're going to go just above where the deep part of your cheekbone is there. Same thing on the other side. We're just going to enhance that cheekbone area. If you do not have noticeable cheekbones like I don't, this will help you to have cheekbones. Then we're going to just cap it this way a little bit. Cross that hairline there, bring it down just a smidge. Side of the contour brush, under that jawline. This will help to define that jaw and reduce and minimize double chin if you have one. Or if you don't, then great, you get to be more chiseled. And then we're going to define the nose. Again, side of the brush, down the side of the nose, under that tip right there. And the darker the color that you use, the more depth, the more contrast that you're going to have. So the more kind of angular that your contouring is going to look. So totally a personal preference. You do whatever makes you happy. Now we're going to use the fluffy part of that brush, get that into the highlighter there. And we're going to do sort of a CV sort of shape right here on the side of the eyes and the top of the cheek. This is going to help lift and brighten this area here, bring more attention to the eyes. And we're going to hit down the center of the face, making sure especially that we hit that Cupid's bow. That is going to give a little more puff and pout to that mouth area. All right, we can set that aside. Now we're going to switch brushes and we're just going to go to a traditional blush brush. We're going to be using the Juvia's Place. This is the palette or volume 4. This has two beautiful colors on it. We're going to be using this one here today. These are very pigmented. So depending on how much pigment you have in your skin will determine how much you need to use this. My personal experience though, this brush just needs like tap, tap. You are loaded with enough for this. So we're literally just going tap, tap. We got enough. Between the bronzer and the highlighter, you're going to deposit that blush. And that's more or less an L. One tap. I don't think you even need a tap for this. I'm just going to finish that out with a little bit of color there. Go ahead and set that aside. Oh, we're here kind of talking about lips. We are going to be working on our lips today. Now, today's look, oh, I didn't say this earlier. I'm so sorry. So today I'm wearing a bright orange shirt to work. And so we're going to do kind of an eye look today. Um, not, this is just kind of giving a little definition to the outside of the eye, and then we'll kind of fade it in using kind of a V look. You can do this with any color. So you're going to need a light, a second light, a medium, and then a dark. So 4 colors total. The more difference you have between your light and your dark, the greater amount of what do you call texture and look you're going to have to that eyeshadow look. So the closer that your colors are in range, the less you're really going to notice that you've got that, and so your definition will be less, and so it'll be a little more kind of natural looking. So it just depends on you. If you're more of a creative person, you have that light and that dark be very different from each other. If you're a little more of a natural kind of a classic individual, then bring those color ranges together, have them be a little more similar to each other, and that will help you kind of achieve that classic look that you're looking for. So we are going to be using the Urban Decay Glide On 24 or 24/7 Glide On Lip Pencil. This is in the shade of Bang, which is a beautiful orange. And we're going to line right on that outside edge. I always hit that V first like that so you get a really nice definition in that Cupid's bow. You can overline your lip a smidge. And by a smidge, I'm talking about no wider than that pencil width. I do not like that let's color outside of the lines look with the lips. Totally personal preference. If you enjoy that coloring where your lips aren't, then feel free to go ahead and do that. It will give you a fuller lip, but you are going to be able to see where your lip actually starts and ends, and everybody and their grandma that looks at you is grandma. Anyways, anybody that looks at you is going to know that you have colored where your lip actually isn't. Great for far away photographs though. So if you're doing like a family portrait where the camera's going to be way back from you, knock yourself out with that overlining. If you're going to be doing a selfie or anything close up, I don't advise it. All right. Then we are going to be using our lipstick, which is going to be the MAC. This is the Amplified Cream in the color Morange. Mo orange? Morange? Anyways, this beautiful bad boy. I know. I don't know how to say the name of the color either. All right. Now, because our lipstick and our liner are about the same color, you got a little forgiveness for exactly where you're putting your lipstick. But if you have chosen an opposing color or a darker color or a lighter color, then make sure you make sure you put your lipstick over all of that line so that you're not actually seeing your lip pencil. Once your lips are the shape that you want, you feel like you've colored it in great, voila, you are done with that lip there. Now today we're going to be using for the eyes. Actually, we need to say the verse together before we jump into our eyes. So that's scrolling across the bottom of your screen now. We have this hope as an anchor for the soul. Hebrews, I cannot read, 9:16. This will be so much better next week when I've worked on it a week. 6:19. Hebrews 6:19. See why we need to work on this together? Okay, so eyes. We're going to be using the Devious Place. This is the Wahala 2. We are going to be using, let's see if I can get this right. We're going to use this color here for our lightest color. For our medium color, we're going to be using this one here. Then we're going to use a little ASAP for our dark color. And then I think kind of in the middle, I think we'll probably use maybe that periodute. I don't know, whatever this one right here is called. What is it with these strange eyeshadow color names? I do not know. Okay, so we're going to use a couple of different brushes today. Let me just show you, line these brushes out for you first. So the first one that we're going to be using is an all-over eyeshadow brush. This is going to go on the brow bone here. Then we're going to be using, for that middle shade that we've got, we're going to be using just a blending, minus the cat hair. There you go. The blending brush. You can tell I live with pets. Then for the nice little V shape that we're going to be doing, we're going to be using an angled shadow brush. This one is a MAC, I don't know, 272 maybe. Then to add definition to the outside of the eye, we're going to be using the MAC 2, maybe 19. This is just a smudger. You can find all of these. It Cosmetic Brushes has them. They're also going to be in the, what's it called? I Obsessed from Morphe, I believe, has all of these in here. Then in the corner, we're going to be using this right here, which is a, I believe, a liner, precision eyeliner brush number 326 from It Cosmetics. When we finish up this look, we're going to be using a spoolie to do the eyebrows. So just make sure you kind of got brushes that sort of look like that, or do your best with what you have. What is it? Necessity is the mother of invention. So, you know, some of these brushes, like this one here that we're going to be using, is actually a concealer brush. So the brush and its name is merely a guideline for what it can be used for. You are still totally within your power to use that brush however you see fit. So there you go. Okay, so we're going to start out with our lightest color here. For me, this is the color Shakira, and that is going to go on your brow bone up here. So we're just going to work that from the inside across, hugging right up under those brows. All right. Next, we're going to take our blending brush, and you're going to use your second lightest shade, which for me is the shade Wasted. And that is just going to go over your whole lid, right on the bottom. Work that up and blend that in to that lightest color you put in there. Make sure you're getting that all the way to that inside there. There you go. Then get the middle of that eyelid. And then finally, we're going to get the outside of that eyelid. And then just kind of go over. You don't need to load your brush up for this, but just work over a little to the up, a little to the down to blend that out into that top part. Oh, and I didn't mention this, but always make sure you have handy your fluff brush so that before anything settles, you can dust away any fly away, fall away eyeshadow. All right, now we're going to be using our angled brush here, and you're going to be using that medium shade that you have. So again, if you want a more natural, conservative, classic look, make sure these shades are all in range to each other. For me, this is this funky one called Period. Period? Okay. People online laugh away. Okay. So we're going to take that angled brush through the shadow. We're going to add it on the outside here. A little bit of a V. There's the top part. Flip that brush around and add it to that bottom part down here. And you're going to go about halfway on that lid there. There you go. Getting the bottom part of that there. Don't need to worry too much about the blending out with this just yet. We'll catch that here in a second. All right, now you're going to take your smudger and you're going to go in your deepest color that you have. For me, that's going to be ASAP. So we're going to take that smudger and you're just going to kind of circular motion, tap that into that color. We want a good amount of color on there, but we don't want so much. So after you think you got all the color on there, give it a shake and let off that loose stuff. We're going to work from the outside corner and you're just going to kind of tap it in. And you're only going about halfway with this. And better to tap more times with a little bit on it than to get too much on there. And now you've got a powdery mess all over your face. Okay, make sure your two sides are kind of even with each other. Now you're going to go back to your angled brush. Just give it like a tap in that medium color that you used, and we're just going to kind of blend that out a little bit. So you're going to the darker line and just working up and out. We're going to go back to our second light shade brush, give it a tap in your color, and you're just going to kind of go over the outside edge of what you just did. And that's just going to blend that out a little bit. Nice. I do got a little happening here. Whoop, whoop. There you go. And you can look straight ahead. I have a tendency, everybody's eyes are different. Two eyes are different sizes and shapes. So look straight ahead and see if your shadow, because I have hooded lids, this is a deal for me for sure. I'm sure it happens to everybody else too though. So look straight ahead and see if your shadow came up the same distance from this side to this side. If not, I always tend to be a little lower on this side. Just take that brush and bring that up a little bit. If what you had was you don't want to bring something up, you want to bring something down, then you're going to grab your lighter shade brush that you use and do the same thing just from the top down as opposed to from the down up. Okay, looks like we have got that all just about even. So we are going to take, leaving that shadow palette just sitting there while we work on the liner. We're going to grab that NYX retractable eyeliner pencil. This is in the shade of black. And you're going to line from that outside corner about halfway. There we go. And we will be going back over this with the liquid liner in a second, so you don't need to be too exact about this just yet. I'm going to come down here to the bottom. And from that outside corner, you're going to line about halfway there. Just a nice thin line. All right. And I don't think I actually brought my liner brush over here. A liner brush works great for this. I do not have that here, so we're actually going to use this one, which is a precision eyeliner. I almost never use it for this, but here we go. We're going to go for it. So you're going to take your liner brush, and you're going to use that medium light shade. For me, it was this one right here. Whatever you put right here, that's what you're using. You're going to get just a little bit of shadow on there, and you're going to work that over that liner that we just put on the bottom. And that's what's going to finish out the other side. Just work it from end to end until the two ends meet. Out the corner of my eye, I can see that verse scrolling through there. So let's just say that together. We have this hope as an anchor to the soul. Hebrews 6:19. All right. Now we're going to take the dark shade that we had, the one that was first put like right here. Same brush, dip into that just a tiny bit. And we're just going to do the very outside corner with that. And now the darkest shade that you used on the most outside, that's just going to go in the little outside right here, just a tiny distance. There you go. Okay, any filer. Okay, I actually feel like this needs a little something, something. We're going to tap that there. Okay, there's a color in this palette called 419. I don't know what that means. It's a glittery color. We're going to use our middle finger. So you could use a topper for this. You could use really a lot of glittery liquid eyeshadows will work for this. Just get a little bit on your finger and you're just going to press a little bit in. Not too much, just a little bit. Let me get it right there. There we go. That's a little better. I think I like that. I'm going to flip over my, told you, always keep a tissue in my lap. This is like your little dish towel while you're doing dishes or while you're cooking. Okay, now we're going to grab our liquid eyeliner. I am using the Too Faced Better Than Sex liner. Now we're going to line the whole top lid. This is going to give our lashes something to adhere to, and then it's also just going to finish out that look and give a nice, clean, sleek line. So this one, hear the balls rattling in there? So just give that a shake there. Start in the outside corner. Just run that right along that lash line. And then work to the inside corner. All right, give it another couple shakes. And you're going to be putting lashes on top of this, so you don't need to be too precise with this. All right. You can see we've just got a nice, clean, slim line there. We're not trying to weigh down the area. We're just trying to give it a little bit of definition. And also, when you put the lashes on, it's going to fill in the gap. If you happen to get your lashes put on a little bit further from your natural lash line, this will fill in that gap and it won't be noticeable that you've accidentally done that. So just kind of like a little bit of insurance. And then I think that the adhesive adheres a little bit better to this compared to a freshly eyeshadowed lid. All right, now we need some brows. We've not got any brows going on. In a bizarre twist, I'm going to be using the NYX Epic Wear eyeliner stick, and this is in the shade of Pink Spirit. If you have fashion colored hair, I mean, I have pretty much used everything on my eyebrows. Lip pencils, colored mascaras, anything goes. You can do it. If it's good for the face, it's good for the face. So with this, I'm just going to be, whatever your brow product is, you use that. You don't love your brows, you don't love your brow product, I highly encourage you to head over and see Olivia at my store. Let her give you a shaping. She can do a tinting. And one thing that's awesome is that the under eye mask, when she does your brow service, oh my gosh, I love this. I'm just kind of a good sucker for a really good under eye mask, though. My favorite are the ones from Pure. I keep those in the refrigerator at all times. They're green, kind of a jellied and a disposable. Come home from work, kick my shoes off, put the dogs outside, stick those on, fix some dinner. Okay, not gonna lie, pajamas are usually involved in that little story somewhere. All right. Once you've got your brow about the shape you want, I think that one's a little darker than this one. I know, we could spend all day tweaking, right? But alas, we do all have other things to do today. Okay, good enough. Then we're going to take our spoolie, which I told you we were going to use. If you do it like this and you leave it, you've got a very like looking angular brow. So we're going to take that spoolie. We're just going to brush those brows out a little bit, let that feather out, get the foundation that might be like having settled in there, get that brushed out. Help that tail out a little bit by brushing that down. Just going to give a little softness to the brow that when you're doing it with that pencil just by itself, it kind of loses that. All right. Now, because we've disturbed the shadow underneath it just a tad, take this and you're just going to go back under that brow line, make sure that's all nice and cleaned up, but yet don't disturb the hair itself because you just got that the way you wanted it. Now, my lashes, excuse me, are clear. So if you do not put some mascara on there, you're going to see my white clear lashes on top of all this. So we are going to be we're going to curl our lashes first. This is the Tarte eyelash curler. This was a special edition they did for Christmas a couple years ago. The one they have has purple handles. It's the same brush. So knock yourself out with that. And then we're going to be using the Bad Gal Bang mascara and that in the color black. Now, when I do this, I use the Bible verse as my timer. So let me come over here so I can actually see this while I'm doing this. There we go. So usually it's about like maybe 15, 20 seconds. So you're going to put that curler close to your lid, but when you crimp it, you do not want to pinch your lid. So keep working it out a little bit until you get it exactly where you need it, where it does not pinch. Okay, so now I'm going to start the pinch or the clamping, and then we're going to say that verse together. So here we go. Clamp and say, we have this hope as an anchor for the soul. Hebrews 6:19. I assure you, if you did that every single day, you'll have this verse memorized in no time. We're going to switch to the other side. Make sure you get that exactly where you need it, not pinching. When you got it ready, here we go. Ready and clamp. Whoops. Hold on. There you go. We have this hope as an anchor for the soul, Hebrews 6:19. And then maybe give it just a second because I think that one got held shorter than the other one. All right, now we're on to our Bad Gal Bang mascara. Gonna give a couple coats on the top, and then we'll do a couple coats on the bottom. Not too worried about the top ones so much because I'm just trying to color them so that they're not, white against the black lashes we're getting ready to put on there. Okay, make sure you come back on those tips there so you get that color on the back side as well. Use that tip of that brush so you can catch every little lash. All right. And I know y'all probably know this already. No pumping, you're letting in germs. Okay, and we are going to catch the bottom lashes now. Let me get my stuff situated here. All right. One time in. Let's get the other side. When you put your mascara on, you want to make sure that you're going all the way up to that. We don't want to end up seeing like track marks from your brush, but you want to go all the way up to where the root of that lash is. We don't want to see a space where you missed mascara. All right. And then just because I'm a little extra, I'm going to go one more time. So I'm going to use one side of the brush to do this side. And then when I flip it around over here, I'm going to use the other side to do this side. We're just going to make sure we've covered that all nice and well. Okay, you could just stop here if you want. If you do not want to put on false lashes, you absolutely do not have to do that. I would encourage maybe another coat on the top lashes just to give a little more volume, but you could stop right there. For today, I'm going to be using the Nubian Lash in Zaira. This is a Juvia's Place. Oh, sorry. There we go. And the thing I like about this one, this is a low volume. These have already been trimmed, you can see. But this is a low volume lash. So it's for her though, it's pretty full, but it's just a nice little more than classic because if you're going to go to all that trouble and effort, you want people to notice that you got lashes on, but it's not too much. So you're going to use the outside corner of those lashes to pull the lash off the tray. If these are a new set that you haven't worn before, you're going to want to probably dry fit them and see if you need to do any trimming. So dry fit trimming, what does that mean? So you're going to take the lash and you're just going to kind of set it on your lashes and see, is it too long? I mean, I guess it could be too short, although I've never seen that. So you're going to trim from the outside edge if you feel like it's too long. Almost everybody has to trim something off. I have kind of smaller eyes, so I have to trim a fairly significant amount off. So better to start with a little bit and then trim in, and then you'll kind of get a feel for which different lash brand you need how much off of. Anyways, that's just how I kind of keep up with it. I know that this brand in particular, they're made a little bit longer than some others, so I have to trim a little bit more off. I'm going to be using the Super Strong Strip Lash Adhesive. This is from Kiss Lashes or Kiss Cosmetics. We're just going to call it Kiss. Okay. This has a nice little brush on the end of it, and you're just going to brush that across the kind of the top edge of that lash band. And then I like to come in on the back side of that lash band as well making sure that we get enough adhesive on there that it can do its job effectively. You want to make sure that you're paying special attention to the outside corners. You do not want lifting on there. You'll notice if you have lifting because you'll feel kind of a sensation that feels sort of like, well, it could be a pinch, or it could be that it feels kind of like it's wet. That's when you know you got a little bit of lifting going on. So if I wear lashes, I have lash glue in my purse. Just in case you have to, go somewhere and fix a little something, something, because something came loose. If you're an eye rubber, then you're definitely going to be mucking with it. So you definitely want to make sure that you carry that adhesive with you. Just make sure that you're replacing that adhesive every once in a while. I'd go with about maybe every 3 or 4 months. I mean, the package on this one says 6 months. Can you see the little opening can thingy? That's the life expectancy for that particular product once you open it. So your purse, though, you're kind of going in and out, temperatures are changing and all that kind of thing. So usually I do it about once a quarter. So once you've got that on, you're going to, chit chat for a second, let that glue kind of get ready. I have it on my, what is this? The velour lash tool. So I just kind of like wave it a little bit, let it kind of set a little bit. You'll notice the shininess kind of goes down. That's about when you're ready to put the lashes on. So lash velour tool is in the middle of those lashes. You've got a nice curve going on. I've worn these a few times, so it's already curved. If you need to add some curve to it, just grab both ends and you're just gonna get a little bit of curve going in there. Again, center of the lash right there. And this one has a flare, so wider on the outside, narrower on the inside. Make sure you're putting your flare the right direction. Skinny part goes to the inside. And you're going to set that on the top of your lash line. Set that in the middle first, right there where your lash meets your skin. Oh, that's lovely. All right, and then we're going to grab the inside corner of that. Well, if I can see. Let's do the outside first then for today. You're going to set that right against the outside edge. Then we're going to come to that inside edge and set that right there. And you should feel a little bit of a dampy, wettish sort of sensation. That means that the lash strip and the adhesive have actually indeed made contact with your eyelid. I'm going to take the tip of that brush, make sure our lashes are working in with those lashes. If you do notice any like sticking, you're just going to take this and just wipe it off with that tissue that you have in your lap. No adhesive can be on that little tool or it's going to make life difficult as you're trying to get these on. Okay, so now we're going to grab the center of the other side. I mean, you can see the difference between these two sides here. Center of the other side, same thing. Set that in the center. There you go. Put that down on the outside edge. And then this one's already just about gone into place here, but let's get that right against, there we go. Work our lashes in. I mostly see where on the inside here, maybe it's the way that I set it down, not sure, but my lashes have a tendency to kind of go this way. So you just got to work them together. Okay, make sure everything's got a good connection there. If you want, you can use your finger to kind of press in. Sort of walk it around. Make sure everything's looking good. Make sure you got good contact. Because the point of these is you're going to get them on in the morning. And then they're going to hang tough with you all day long with no pinching or problems. Okay, so now we have got our lashes on. Let me come over here. And we are going to review our verse together, and then we are going to set this bad boy and we will be good to go. So our verse scrolling across the bottom of our screen is, we have this hope as an anchor for the soul, Hebrews 6:19. So the final step that we have is, now that we've got contouring done, we've got our eyeshadow done, we've got our lashes put on, our lipstick is good. Now we need to make sure that nothing moves all day, because I don't like messing with my makeup through the day. So we're going to use that Urban Decay De-Slick. This is going to help on top of that Long Time No Shine powder. This is going to help your foundation, your eyeshadow, everything to just set and stay in place all day long. So give it a good shake. Your setting spray can do a bunch of different things for you. Maybe you want a dewy finish. Choose one that's got a glow. Maybe you want a matte finish. Choose one like the D-Slick. Maybe you want an ultra matte. So they have an ultra matte. That one you definitely want to make sure that you shake that, because that's got that kaolin clay in there. And you'll get white flicks. So if you get the white flicks, that just means you need to shake it better. If your nozzle gets clogged up, just hold it under hot water for a minute, give it a couple sprays, and then spray it on yourself. So this has got a couple of shakes. We're going to take that D-Slick. We're going to tip our head back. We're going to spray that, let that set, fan that down just a little bit. And voila, we have got a little beauty on the outside and a whole lot of beauty on the inside. So thank you so much for joining me today. It has been a great time chatting with you, putting on makeup together with you, and I look forward to spending time with you this week online. So we're just going to review our verses. Let me get this one off the bottom of the screen, and we're going to start with episode number 1. Let me see if I can find that here. There we go. Episode number 1. If you haven't been with me before, maybe it's your first time, you can just read through these verses with us, because they're going to be on your screen. So the grass withers and the flowers fall, but the word of the Lord endures forever. 1 Peter 1:24 and 25. Then we're going to move to our next one. Episode 2 was Philippians 4:13. I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength. Episode 3, we were looking at 2 Corinthians 12:9. God's grace is all you need. And then we moved to the book of Joshua, still hanging out in the Old Testament. Be strong and courageous, for the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go. Then now I've lost track of myself. Episode 5, we worked on Exodus 15:2. The Lord is my strength and my song. Then we move to Psalms, still hanging out in the Old Testament. Psalm 118, verse 24. 118, verse 24. This is the day that the Lord has made. Let us rejoice. Then in episode 7, we were in Psalm 8:3. Psalm 8:3 is taste and see that the Lord is good. I loved that picture, because I was like this really pretty kind of cupcake scene. So if you didn't color that one, go back and do that one. And then we were in episode 8, Psalm 34:8. And let us, wait. That's not right. Which one are we on now? Galatians 6:9. Which is actually episode 9, Galatians 6:9. And let us not grow weary in doing good, for in due season we will reap if we do not give up. Okay, whew, that one's a little more wordy than some of the other ones. Okay, and then we were in Proverbs 31:25. She is clothed in strength and dignity, and she laughs without fear of the future. Then we move to let's see, those Proverbs. Psalm 96:4. Great is the Lord and most worthy of praise. And then let me go back up here so we can look at the last two that we did. In episode 11, we did Isaiah 49:16. I have written your name in the palms of my hand. And that was Isaiah 49:16. And then today we are working on, for this week, we're working on Hebrews 6:19. Yeah, 6:19. We have this hope as an anchor for the soul. So it has been a great time hanging out with you this week. I look forward to seeing you next week. So let me speak this blessing over to you as we head out today. The Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face to shine upon you and be gracious to you. The Lord lift his countenance upon you and give you peace. Oh, Father God, how great it was to hang out this morning, or whatever time it is that they are watching this video, Father. Thank you so much for each different face that gets to go through this process. Father, beauty on the outside and a whole lot of beauty on the inside. I just pray that you would be with us this week as we work on this verse, that we would learn to hide your word in our heart, Father, that these words would become a part of us and that we would use them and remind ourselves of them through our daily life so that we will live a righteous, godly life in your eyes, Father, becoming more like Jesus every day. Help us to enjoy Jesus with these verses. Thank you so much. Oh, in Jesus' name, amen. And I pray that this week you guys would just have a fantastic week. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. Goodbye and God bless.